Hello! It's been a while, but we have basically no time. So let's just jump into this video that I owe you. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, it's part 2 to Gulrang. How is Gulrang now that Trial by Frost is out? Definitely not late at all. Definitely not already solved. So let's look at some cards. Okay, so first I'm going to start talking about some cards that were introduced in Trial by Frost that I think could be good for Gulrang and maybe even were intended to be used with Gulrang. And then we'll talk about some others that are just generally good that I have decided to test out in the deck. And I will make this as quick as possible, starting right off the bat with Mobile Armory, but we're actually going to want the rare version of Mobile Armory. So this is just a very good card. Not only does it create a Ortis Recruit token that is going to get a boost from Gulrang, but it also removes Defender. So you can add it after having different recruits in an expedition for a surprise move forward. Next, we are going to talk about Ortis Overseer. I play the common. We don't really need the rare in Gulrang. It just creates a token per bureaucrat you control. There might be some room in the rare slots to try this out, but currently I don't think so. But if my expedition is behind, create a recruit token in my expedition. With Gulrang, that's going to be stats of 3, 3, and 4 down the line. Most often during the early game, your expeditions are going to be behind. That's kind of part of the strategy unless you see a way to get out ahead early and stay ahead. Next up, it's going to be field reinforcements. Some people have mentioned using the rare on this one. I prefer the common, just once again because of rare slots. The only thing that the rare changes is it removes fleeting, but it still does have cooldown. So I opt for the common. Now, there's going to be a surprise card that we will get into when I show you the actual deck list, but some others that were created that are seemingly really good for Gulrang are Sunisa. I currently use the common. It's just good stats, 3/3 for 4/4/4, but if your expedition is behind, it does remove Defender. Then we have Geyser. Geyser is just when it first came out, I wanted to say it was very good. Now I just think it's decent. It is hard in the fact that it returns the target permanent or character to the owner's hand. So hypothetically, they can play it again. But once you do that, it does put it in your mana zone and it can result in some very cool plays in Gulrang, especially if you do it around 7 mana. Next up, we are going to talk about, I'm sorted by mana, so you can kind of see as we're going down here. Now, I think Veilmon was maybe somewhat intended on being included with Gulrang, but I did not see very success in my testing with him. And having 10 or more mana orbs for the rare is just a little too many. There is Benzaiten, which could hypothetically be good for Gulrang, but I think it just costs a little too much. And that basically brings us to the end of the cards introduced in Trial by Frost that I think are specifically coded for Gulrang. Now, for the deck, so like the first video, I'm going to start this deck with no uniques in it so that you can kind of understand where the basis is and maybe figure out what kind of uniques you would like to slot in. From my earlier testing, I think what I would remove to then put in uniques is this Ortis Night Warden. I think because of the inclusion of hypothermia, it sounded like a good idea, but in practice, it hasn't paid off too much for me. The problem I've had in testing is I've gone up against Siggy a lot, and Siggy kind of doesn't really care about hypothermia. He's going to have a bunch of recruits out anyways, so those are an easy target to just put the hypothermia on, which is why we're using it in Gulrang, because we also have tokens a lot to eat the hypothermia. So most of the list is pretty straightforward. We have two Ortis troopers just to help out with stats. We have the Overseer here, the cadets, they create a token, of course. We have Sunisa. We have Ortis Attorney. This might be another one that you could switch out depending. I honestly haven't had too much success with it yet, but it's not a bad card stat wise. And then if you do get the benefit of drawing a card, it's pretty good. Ortis Spy in the rare, I think, is especially good for Gulrang. You have the sabotage up front, and then you have the creating a token from reserve. The special tech here is Atlas. I only have 2 rare copies in here, rare slots, yada yada. But this makes tokens you control gigantic. This is also something that can be very good to eat hypothermia. As you see, the stats for Atlas himself, not very good. But the passive that he provides, very good for your tokens in Gulrang. So this next kind of different part of the deck, I have to give credit to Freeloader, and he suggested trying out Icebound Lake, which has been pretty fun so far. I'm not sure if it is worth the rare slot quite yet, but we will see. We're gonna play some games here in a minute and kind of see how the deck operates. But other than that, we have 2 teamwork trainings, just general removal. We have the field reinforcements, the geyser we talked about, and then of course we have 3 mobile armories, and we have Ortis Carrier at 2. I have also tested Grand Endeavor, and some other things weren't really working out. So let me know what your thoughts are on cards that could be switched around or what you would like to see. But now let's jump into the games and kind of how it goes. Okay, so disregard a little bit of what I said last night. I just have not been able to get the Night Warden to work, so I had an idea to maybe try out Thoth. So that is, I still think, going to be the area where when we throw in uniques, we get rid of Thoth. Maybe even Ortis Attorney. It hasn't given me cards as often as I would like, but let's jump into an arena match with the deck here. At the very least, this deck has some really fun interactions, and I do think it could be good at a local weekly event. Making Gulrang highly competitive, not sure it's quite there yet. If someone else figured it out, let me know. But good news is I've spent a lot of time just messing around in Arena and tanked my elo back down to a flat 100. I'm at 0 points in gold, so I have nothing to lose. So we can keep testing this Gulrang deck on Arena, because that's kind of the highest level of competitive matchmaking outside of tournaments. Maybe I'll try this at a tournament coming up just for fun, but we'll see. So I really like a field reinforcements on the first day. And then sadly, I think we're going to get rid of the extra one. We'll do a field reinforcements and then a mobile armory. And we'll either block or get a expedition move out of that right there. Okay, so we'll start with the field reinforcements. It's one of my favorite ones to play right off the bat because you're already behind or tied. Get a recruit down with that Gulrang boost into one lane. And then, ooh, we actually have a really good choice here. Sleeping that tiny Jin could actually be good for us. And with Gulrang, we're not really upset if at the start we get double moved on because a lot of our cards interact with being behind. So we might want to be behind just a little bit at the start so we can start getting that running. I also kind of like sleeping a tiny Jin. It's one of the only ways to stop it from going to mana. Now, it didn't get a boost this last turn, but it very well could have with a Fire Rabbit or something. So it might be a little too early for the lake, and I think they're going to play the Serengar right off the bat. But I really need the lake, so since we already have this recruit out, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the Overseer into mana. See if they play something else before the Serengar, and that'll kind of decide our next move. Okay, so just like I thought, they are playing the Serengar right off the bat, so Ortis Spy doesn't do us very much good. We'll play the Mobile Armory here. Interesting that they stacked all to one side. Alright, there's that Chiron. Probably gonna give the Tiny Jin. They'd probably sleep Buddha or Chiron. I will just take the one move. I'll play my Lake and hope that we can time it well. Okay, now we play the Thoth. We're gonna get another counter on the Lake. We're going to draw a card and create a recruit from this. Obviously, we are pretty decently behind now, but I'm hoping we can draw what we want to draw and get this lake set up correctly here. And there it is. The Atlas. Unfortunately, we can't afford both Atlas and the Geyser. The other unfortunate thing is we only have one token currently, but we're going to play the Atlas. It's going to trigger the lake, and we're going to play the dragon, which is also a token, put Atlas to sleep so that the benefit sticks around, and now we have 8s down the line on both sides. And there's my Ortis Carrier, which I would have loved much earlier. Issue we have now is we have no token creation. Going up to 8 mana, we will be online. I think we're gonna need a teamwork training. So I'm sorry, Sunisa. We'll get rid of you again. They gave it to Buddha. That might have been a very smart move on their end. Oh, they can just replay that. So I think I do lose here. They could have replayed it on either side, so it doesn't really matter. But we got to do the cool interaction. You've seen some of the deck ideas at work. Let's do one with uniques and let's take a look at what kind of uniques I might have that might work in it. Um, I haven't even actually looked myself because I've been playing this without uniques. So, um, I wasn't really paying attention to what happened. They said GG. I just took their word for it. I think I actually blocked them over here with the Ordis attorney. Um, no worries. They said sorry in the chat for calling an early GG. I'm over here distracted anyways. But I like the position that I'm in here. If I would have thought about it, yeah, I can't play two Atlases either way. Um, no, I don't like the position I'm in here. I just don't have enough tokens. I think in a perfect world, you get the Ordis carrier either down turn 1 or turn 2, and then you have the token coming out every turn. But we did not have that perfect world, so now they got the GG. And we'll look at uniques. So I kind of like Thoth when it works out. Um, I'm gonna try to remove Attorney for our three uniques. Let me know what your thoughts are. Okay, so put a card in reserve. Target character is asleep. If you pay one, character may be asleep. If you have less than 8 mana orbs, sabotage. That could be good. You control one or more landmarks, create an Ordis token in your other expedition. When I go to reserve in each, yeah. So Gatekeeper, that's going to be good. When my expedition fails to move forward during dusk, Sabotage. When I go to reserve, if I, yep, that's going to be good. And then, let's see. If you control one or more landmarks, each player sacrifices a character. If you control a token, I am eternal. It's just, it costs way too much. So I think this rat might actually be our best bet here. So I'm gonna go this monolith legate with double sabotage, basically this Ordis gatekeeper, and then the rat, which is not super great, but some more sabotage. Maybe that'll help keep us in the game. And let's try a game. I just have to get through just this last match, and then I can go back to making somewhat interesting, maybe alright videos that don't include Ordis. Ooh, against a Basira. Most likely a Clute Basira, right? So once again, we have my favorite opening here. We need one of the lakes. Um, so I think I'll just go for the field reinforcements and trooper start, and we'll see how that goes. Unfortunate that we pulled both of the lakes in the opening hand. Means we do have to keep one if we want that to work at all. I see, because I do have defender, so they do get a double move. Very good play, but also kind of exactly what I wanted. Unfortunately, I think here the field reinforcements has to go to mana. We get our Ordis carrier out. We play the rat so that we can have a sabotage option. next turn or two. Not too shabby. I've realized I've only moved once in this game, so no Atlas, no, and no card draw either. Very unfortunate times. But decent board state here with the dragon. I think we are probably at the end of the game here, though. Basira, just too many boosts, going too fast is going to put us into a grave. We'll see if this cadets can block the side that they're going to go on. What do we have here? When I leave the expedition zone, if I have one or more boosts, draw a card. That is a very good unique that they were just able to pull. It's going to have 7. Yeah. It could easily go over the top of either side. So that is GG. Hopefully, I was able to give you some good ideas of where Gulrang could be in Trial by Frost. Maybe it's a good start to what you might do in next set with some other options. There are some people out there who have been playing Gulrang and trying to figure out how to get her tournament viable. Okay, there it is. Very lovely fire rabbit to seal the deal. And they anchor the Blade Dancer for funsies. So, like I've said, I think this deck is fun. Oh, I gotta say GG. My bad. Like I said, the deck is fun. I think there are more tools for Gulrang in the set that make playing her a lot more interesting. I think the interaction with Atlas is a lot of fun if you can get it to work right. Also, hypothetically, hypothermia should help out Atlas. I just was not able to get it to work. There are a couple people out there that have been working on getting Gulrang to a more tournament viable spot. Overloss is someone who's been playing in all of the online events as Gulrang for a bit. And there are some placements for Gulrang on 39cards.com. It has been about over a month since, and it was a 5 and 2 placement, so top 25-ish. But if you've ever played in any of the AWOL Monday tournaments, you know it is highly competitive. So that is a very good spot to hit. So now that I finally finished this, and probably almost no one will watch it because it's way too late, I can get back to doing some other cool stuff. Probably bring you a deck swapped here in the next month or so. Make my video on the altered content creator rotisserie draft that Elio put together, and so much more coming. If you like watching the Ace VODs, thanks for doing that. And leave a comment, like, and subscribe, and we can keep doing cool things. So